Hey everybody, it's your girl Angie. Welcome back to Kiss My Cheeks TV. Let's jump right into Greenleaf. This is the sixth day. Sixth day. This was a good episode, y'all. I've been waiting all season for a good episode like this. I have a lot to say, but you already know I'm going to try to say it fast. Off top, I want to say the writing on this show is all over the place. Even though this episode was kind of good, it was good. The writers have these characters doing so many flip flops. It drives me crazy just because I don't like people like that, and I try not to be like that. Like if I say I ain't doing this, I don't want to 30 seconds later, let's do it. Like, it's so confusing. Like, these people are doing 180s, like, whoosh, let's do this. Whoosh, let's do that. Whoosh, hang up the phone on you. Whoosh, I'm at your front door. I can't. Let's jump into it. It opens up Bishop on the phone with the FBI. He is mad. He was like, why is Rochelle walking free? If she was going to go free, you could at least told me, warn the Bishop, warn him something. I guess Rochelle is working with the FBI, so she is allowed to wander around and mess with Bishop now, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm probably going to talk about it later. I'm going to say it now, but I'm here for it because Bishop, I'm just going to say it, Bishop is full of shit. When you lay down everyone's dirty deeds, Bishop's is probably the tallest. Like, he got a lot of nerve to be reading people when he done did some foul stuff as well. And just last season, you was ready to risk it all for a little piece of Rochelle. Matter of fact, you did risk it all because that's why you and Lady Mae are divorced and having to get remarried. And if it wasn't for the little scheme being found out that Rochelle was a Skanks or a James daughter, you would have been what Mama Joy said, laying it low and spreading it wide. No, that was Mama Evelyn on the Braxtons. You would have been laying it low and spreading it wide for Rochelle. So I'm tired of James. Moving on. Lady Mae is arguing about his doctor's appointment. Everybody needed a doctor's appointment. Everybody in that family a little bit touched to me. Lady Mae invites Tara to the house, and I'm like, why? Y'all need to put Clarissa out. Everybody needs to be packing their bags because Lady Mae is, I don't understand why she wants to give away the house. Like, to me, giving away the house, that's one thing I agree with Bishop. You making me look guilty. But to me, you telling them about the first will makes you look guilty. Like, I don't understand this whole storyline. Like, it's all stupid to me. But moving on. Darius calls Grace. He was like, I need you to send me these files. And so Grace like, I gotta go, Mama. She upstairs typing, click, click, click. And she looking. And she's like, yeah, here go the files right here. And then she's like, they disappearing right in front of my eyes. And I'm like, girl, why don't you click on some of them to see? You see they disappear and start clicking. Like, Lord knows, I don't know nothing about IT. I don't have a degree in nothing but accounting. I can't tell you nothing about how to do these IT files. But to me, I'm like, girl, start opening some of this stuff. You see they disappearing, start clicking and sending. Grace just standing there looking at it at dummy like, they're disappearing before my very eyes. Whatever, girl. Moving on. So, 180 number 1. All last week, Phil Daddy been click. You talking about my son? Click. You talking about my ex-wife? Click. You a pastor? Click. He been hanging up on the Greenleafs all last few episodes. And now here he is at the gate talking about you was calling me. Y'all got to make this make sense. Like, somewhere you have to explain or show. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I was here for him hanging up in their face. Like, the old school flip-flop click. I was here for it. I was here for all the memes. But now, here he is at the front door. Okay. So, he at the front door. And he did say a word to Charity that I'm gonna speak on real quick. He gonna say all this house come from religion, and Charity was like, people in the church like to see their leaders live well. And he was like, no, nah, that just sounds like something y'all tell yourselves to make you feel better for living well. Because I'm like, side note, like he said a word. He said a word because I do feel like that is what they like to tell themselves and to tell others. I feel like the people in the church, I don't care how you live. You live in great, you live in average. I don't care. I want everyone to live well. Now, do they have to have 100-acre estates with ponds and guest houses and long roads to drive up? No, I don't give it. I don't give a damn if the pastor lives there. I don't want them living in poverty. But I feel like most people in the church give out of obedience because the Bible says to tithe and give an offering. We ain't giving for the pastor to live in $100 million estate. Most people in that church give because they expect the church to take that tithe in the offering to give back to the community for the people who may need help. That's what the church is there for, to help the community, not for my pastor to live in a $100 million estate. But let's move on from that because I feel like that is a hot topic. It might be a push button for some people, and I don't want to push your buttons, but I just thought Daddy Phil gave a word when he told Charity no. You just saying that to yourself. You can start asking some people. But anyway, moving on. Daddy Phil tells them about the mortgage scheme that Bob Whitmore was in. And he was like, my ex-wife was the face. She would go into the black community and sell people on these mortgages. And then they would, what he said, I can't think of the real term, and I should know being in finance, but they would balloon the interest rate, make the mortgage payment so high where they can't now pay it back. And they've already taken the free, it ain't free money, but they've already taken the money that these families probably needed, and they probably thought they were getting help. But let me tell you something. It ain't no such thing as free help. If an offer seems too good to be true, it is. Don't ever wager the place where you have to lay your head. Like, wager your car, because if you have to, you can Uber, you can catch the bus. Get a title loan or something. Wager your bank account, because you can always close it if... I ain't saying to do it, but I'm just saying don't wager the place where you have to lay your head. Moving on. So after these people can't pay back their mortgages, they lose their house, and Bob was cleaning out the poor black communities. And he was like, why do you think he wants to have a mixed church? He's trying to look good amongst the black community because he just shitted on them by stealing their homes and probably gentrifying the neighborhood. Ain't no telling what he was doing. But anyway, moving on from that, because they all like, oh, because it took them the longest time. Like, when he first said, and who do you think he was doing this to? I was like, black people. But it took the Greenleafs, they so far removed. They like, well, I don't know. They were doing it to people. I don't know. I'm like, poor black people, who you think they doing it to? Moving on. Let's wrap up Zora's storyline real quick, because Zora got on my last nerve. She kind of like Clarissa a little bit. Like, just unreasonable for no reason. Now, Zora done bought her a flight for the next day to New York. She want to go, I want to say, to a performing arts school. She wants to do an audition. I don't have no problem with that. She's 18. Hell, she done already ran off to Atlanta once, so... And I mean, she's 18. If she wants to go to college, she can go to college. I guess somewhere she must have told her parents she was going to stick around for a year. But she was like, y'all getting a divorce? Well, I got to stick around for it. Y'all can't get y'all shit together. I ain't mad at you. Do what you got to do. Follow your dreams. But what pissed me off, somewhere in the storyline, And I'm skipping because I want to wrap Zora up in a bow. Down the episode, Sophia go tells, what's the name? Jacob and Clarissa, Zora leaving. She on a flight tomorrow to New York. And so they trying to convince her to stay. And they were like, look, I ain't telling you you can't go to New York, but let me and your mother, let us, we want to help you get there. Why don't we, and he was like, why don't we get you another ticket with your refundable ticket and let us call your mom's cousin out in Hoboken and let you have a place to stay. And she was like, Hoboken ain't New York. I don't want to live in Hoboken. I'm like, bitch, where was you going to stay at first? Like, you ain't got no money. You was just going to catch a flight and sleep on a park bench. Homeless is better than Hoboken, I guess. And then she was like, well, if y'all really want to help me, why don't y'all get me a place in New York? And I'm like, bitch. I'm just saying bitch in general. I'm like, bitch, your parents ain't got a place of their own. Don't you see you all living in your grandparents' house? How they gonna get you a place and they ain't got a place? Make it make sense. What was Zora's original plan? Because if she already had somewhere to lay her head, I wouldn't have exchanged the ticket. I would be like, I'm gone. I'm out. I don't understand. You just gonna fly to New York and then what? The whole time I'm thinking somebody gonna scoop her up and she gonna be on somebody's track. Like, what were you flying? What was your plans? I don't understand. I don't understand. And so by the end of it, now Zora is like, well, you told my parents my secret, so I told your mama you don't want to go to Hampton because your titty pics are out. And I said, you know what, Zora? I ain't mad at it. Tit for tat. Tit for tat. So that's Zora and Sophia bow done. Moving on. Tara says, because she sat with Lady May in the living room, I done seen this house, and after I seen it, I know God, he has some work for us to do in this house. I know it's meant for me to have this house. Go ahead and give it to her, May. And May, I don't understand. If God told you to give the Daryl James's children that house because of whatever, I'm starting to believe Bishop did it. For whatever reason, God told you to give them that house. Why should you care? He didn't say give them the house as long as Rochelle and Basie stay away. If God told you to give them children that house, give them children that house and walk away from it. Walk away from it. God doesn't give you conditions like do this, but if so-and-so come around, don't do it. Like, so now Rochelle pulls up on Bishop down at the new church. And I said, Latoya Luckett, you are playing this role. I like you as Rochelle. Latoya Luckett is a good actress. Side note, she should be playing Candy's part over there on the shop because Candy sucks. But let's get back into Greenleaf. Rochelle told Bishop, I shouldn't even be here with you. You probably gonna burn me up in this church like you did my daddy. Rochelle is giving it to Bishop and she is not letting loose. She said, Bishop, success is the evidence of holy favor. And right now, you're not looking highly favored. You done lost your church and you're getting ready to be evicted from your house. I said, read him, Rochelle. Because this is the point of the episode where I'm like, Bishop is so pissed. But I'm like, just a season or two ago, you was all in this lady's face, kissing her all in the mouth. Like, you was ready to lose it all for a piece of Rochelle and her Bitcoins. You was ready to lose it all. I ain't mad. Stick it to Bishop because he's not squeaky clean. He wants to sit up and tell May, tell your secrets. You want to be so holy, go clean your conscience. But when you going to tell the family about Mavis? And that's why Mavis want to go away, because she don't want to be around you because you was all up in her bed. Like, when you going to tell your secrets? Okay. And then the coldest part, Rochelle was walking out the building and Bishop was like, when are you going to let go of this illusion? Like, when you going to stop living in this fantasy that I killed your daddy? And Rochelle looked at him and was like, Basie should have killed you when he had the chance. And walked off. I said, this ain't going to end well. This ain't going to end well. Now let's go over to some more foolery. Grace and Noah, they up here talking about Loretta, what's her name? Loretta Davis. And who was this Negro that the gardener is always talking about? Why is the Negro always coming up to the house? Do they think the Negro is Daryl James? Now, Noah's like, I'm going to go ask some of the neighbors. They might know who the Negro is. And I'm like, if this lady was so old, wouldn't the neighbors be old too? Like, this whole house situation is getting on my nerves. I'm going to get to that a little bit later. But on Twitter, I seen someone say they think Daryl James and Loretta Davis had an affair and Basie is the product of the affair. And I was like, good guess. But if Basie was Loretta's son by the Negro, wouldn't she just leave? If the daddy died, wouldn't she just leave the estate to the son? Why would she flip it all the way over to the Greenleafs? But anyway, now they talking about AJ. You know I can't stand AJ. I can't stand his whole storyline. Now AJ wants to live because he's going to put together his granddaddy's dream car. Not his dream car. Ain't nobody just going to buy him a Beamer like he won't. But he going to get this GT whatever car. And he done got him in a garage. He done got him some tools. But he ain't got no skills to put it together. Like, that's like me going out and get a garage and the tools and 1,000 parts. I ain't going to know the first thing to do with putting together no dream car. I don't care what kind of garage you put it in. Writers, just let AJ go. And who was the mystery man at the grave? We just gonna pretend like the mystery man at the grave never came to Grace and told her everything expires. We just gonna, that ain't happened. He's dead. Moving on. AJ is playing cutesy with her parents, like, oh, I can see why you guys got together and had me. Oh, look at you two together. I can see why you guys, made me. Oh, you guys are going to come and live in the house. Because Noah told Grace, I got a house. It's right down the street from my mom's house. Let me move this for a second. He was like, it's right down the street from my mom's house. And when Lady May give away y'all house, you can come stay with me. And I'm like, Noah, Grace is rich. She could buy her own house. Like, no. I said, y'all writers need to stop. This man just 3 days ago slit his wrist open. But now all his granddaddy had to do was give AJ, not AJ's dream car, but the granddaddy's dream car. And now AJ is on cloud 9. He loves his parents. They look so cute together. Yeah, let's all come together and live as a family. This is the worst writing ever. So we're going to move on from that. Now, Lady May and Bishop are arguing. Lady May is questioning, like, why would Loretta even give Daryl James the house anyway? Like, why does white woman want to give Daryl a house? And then why she even want to give it to us? We didn't know this woman. And I'm like, this makes no sense. Like, writers, this makes no sense. Who is this white lady? And she was like, she never came to our church. If Mac didn't take you to her that one time, she wouldn't even know our names. And I'm like, okay, this doesn't make any sense. This rich white lady who has this huge estate, not just a little house, a little $200,000 house, but this huge estate, multi-million-dollar estate with staff. Your brother introduced your husband to him one time, and now all of a sudden, the house is yours. Like, why did, and it took you all these years to go through all this drama for you to think about why did this lady even give us this house? That's a question you should have asked then. Like, why is this lady giving us this house? But no, y'all just not gonna look a gift horse in the mouth. But now all of a sudden you want to have more, not morals, but a conscience, and want to know why when you wasn't worried about why then. And Bishop gonna tell Lady May, be quiet. You want to be so holy, go free your conscience. Tell your secrets. And so now Phil, Phil daddy comes to confront Phil, and Charity is like, you need to tell Phil what his mama did. He ain't gonna believe it coming to me. And I'm like, this is why Charity isn't the voice of reason. This man ain't seen his son in however many decades. It had to have been a very long time. And the first time you come around to have a conversation with your son who you have not talked to in years, you want to trash his mama, the person who raised him. Yeah, I ain't talked to you in a long time, son, but your mama wasn't shit. She was around here stealing all these black people's money in the community, stealing their houses for Bob Whitmore. Like, you in Charity, you thought that was going to go over well. Why? And now you want to be self-righteous again. I'm just going to pray for you, Phil, because right now only God can help you. I can't stand Charity. I can't stand Charity, and I can't stand that the writers are setting it up for Charity to be the one who's probably going to save the day. I can't stand it. Moving on. Clarissa is packing her bags, and she finally getting out of Lady Mae house, and I'm like, good. It took you long enough to get out. But for whatever reason, it has to be a family affair. Everybody got to come downstairs and hug Clarissa goodbye. And I'm like, why? Why? But anyway, Clarissa is all in her feelings. Jacob, when we were talking to Zora, you said we. And I can't believe you said we. It took for us to get a divorce for you to finally act like a husband. And I'm like, here she go. Here she go. And then she was like, I wish we would have never even met each other. And he was like, if we would have never met, we would have never had Winky and Zora. And maybe it would have been best if we never had them. And he was like, well, we all should be angels in heaven, because everybody's life ain't perfect. I don't know a single person that got a perfect life. Not one. Not me, not you, not them on the TV. So you kind of sound trash talking about you wish your children was never born. Why? Because your husband don't want to be with you no more? Like, you sound stupid. Stupid. You should have cussed her out, Jacob. But finally she was like, well, since you said we, you can have shared custody. And I'm like, thank you. Now leave. Thank you, ma'am. Now leave. And she got out. Jacob put them bags in the car. Everybody hugged her goodbye. Peace. Deuces to Clarissa. And Lady Mae had some good sense. She was like, I'm getting ready to tell my T, I don't want this bitch around throwing it back in my face. Jacob, you better not tell her. Anyway, so now Lady Mae is on the steps, and she was like, okay, Clarissa gone. I got to tell y'all something. I got to get everything off my mind. She making this big dramatic thing. And they're like, what? And Grace like, you want to do this right now? And she was like, yeah. Shut up. She was like, me and Lionel was in a little bit of an entanglement. Grace's child, not your daddy's. Dinner at 7. Peace. Lady Mae, I love. Like, who else can do that? Who else could drop a bomb on their entire family and then be like, y'all better come eat? I love Lady Mae. I should hate Lady Mae. Like, Lady Mae is full of shit. All of them full of shit. But since they all full of shit, I like Lady Mae the best. I love her. Like, that's a good character. So now, let's see where we at. The siblings are sitting outside drinking wine. They can't believe what their mama just said. They was like, that was the most awkward dinner ever. Jacob said, I don't care. I got my own shit going on. I got Clarissa and this divorce to worry about. You my sister no matter what. Charity getting ready to have a hissy fit like a 4-year-old because Kevin knew before she did. And Grace is like, Cherry, that was mama's secret. That wasn't my secret to tell you. And that's why, like, this why I don't like Cherry. She was getting ready to drop to the ground, roll on the floor, kick her feet. Kevin knew something I ain't know. Why did Kevin get to know? I'm like, Kevin, that's her brother's man. Your ex-husband. That's why he get to know. Okay? And so now they talking about, well, we knew you was too light-skinned to be in the family anyway. They ain't say it like that. But then she was like, look at Faith. And I said the same thing. I'm like, well, how does that explain Faith? Like, was she still in an entanglement when Faith was born too? Because Faith in those pictures look just as light as Grace. But moving on. Darius calls and he was like, I got somebody who ready to go on the record. Get over here. Because they going to go on the record against Bob Whitmore and this housing thing. We got him. And so Grace coming up to the house. It's dark. And she's like, where Darius at? And she knocking on the door, and this mysterious car come up, and she's talking about what you want. And he was like, you talking shit, come here. And Grace pushed him off, because remember, Grace whooped Mac's ass, so I think Grace can hold her own. So he was like, well, you want to see Darius, you got to come with me. And I'm like, that's what you tell a little 5-year-old. Like, no, we done already learned that we don't get in cars with strangers. What you talking about, come with you? Where he at? And so finally, when he saw Grace wasn't stupid, he was like, look, you don't want to get hurt. Stop looking into this Bob and this mortgage stuff. Don't start none, won't be none. And the episode go off, and I'm like, Lord, where is Darius? Like, Darius better be, Rick Fox better be on the episode next week. That's all I got to say. Because next week, all I saw was the wrecking ball. Go ahead and tear the church down. We still gonna stick it to Bob, but go ahead and tear it down. Just start all over. I'm over it. The man who was threatening Grace is at the church looking at Grace like, you better not say nothing. If I was Grace, I would say something. I'm saying, my whole family here, what you gonna do? I'm saying something. Anyway, get in the comments. Let me know what y'all thought about the episode. I did talk a lot, but it was a good episode. Like, the Greenleafs get on my nerve. No. I love the Greenleafs. The writers are getting on my nerve. The way they're spinning some people's storylines, but for the most part, the episode was good. I want to know who the Negro was. They call him the Negro. That's why I said it. I want to know who it was. I want to know where Basie at. I want to know more about Phil, Mama, Phil, Daddy. I can't wait for Phil to leave Judy. Like, Phil, please walk away from this church. Like, please get a backbone and get your own. I ain't gonna go there. Like, comment, share, y'all. Subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.